people here. You know, so often these days, folks, the news goes from stupid to sad to sadly stupid. But today, I'm happy to report it's just plain dumb. Because, was it just this morning? Yeah. Late this morning, the president held an impromptu press conference from a highly unusual location.
Sir, why are you on the roof?
That's nice. That's not a question you hear asked of a world leader that often. It's right up there with, Your Majesty, where are your pants?
Hello, my dear friends. I have I don't know if you call it sad duty, but I have the duty to inform all of you of a very simple fact. The President of the United States of America is a pervert. Understand what I just said. The President of the United States.
When Stephen Colbert and James Carville go after Trump, it's not just late-night comedy, it's political demolition. Colbert unloads lightning-fast satire, ripping apart every over-the-top move with precision. Meanwhile, Carville drops verbal nukes in his gritty southern drawl, slicing straight through Trump's bluster. Together, they're less a comedy duo and more a wrecking crew, stripping away the myths until all that's left is the fragile ego Trump tried so hard to hide.
My fellow Americans and all the ships at sea, I hope you've stocked your family's shelter with potable water and dehydrated turkey chili. Because, ladies and gentlemen, a full-scale flame war has broken out between the world's most famous besties, Donald Trump and Elon Musk, or, as they're known by their celebrity couple name, Two Huge Jagoffs.
Colbert zeroes in on Trump's presidency as pure theater big gestures, wild superlatives, endless self-applause. He doesn't exaggerate, he just reframes it like a farce. Suddenly, what Trump sells as high drama looks more like a reality show pretending to be Shakespeare. The rallies, the hand waves, the obsession with applause, it's all material for Colbert. He paints Trump as less a commander-in-chief and more like a desperate cruise ship magician, begging the audience to clap louder before the trick falls apart.
Hello, my friends. Kind of a more serious conversation today we usually do. For those of you who follow this YouTube video, you'll know that a year ago, I brought up, one of the first people to do it, thank you, the hand splotches and red spots that Donald John Trump had in his hands. And I speculated that this is one of the manifestations, in some cases, someone having venereal disease.
Carville doesn't waste time with setups. He's a political hitman, where Colbert entertains, Carville eviscerates. He dismantles Trump's business genius by reminding everyone this is the guy whose casinos went belly up, the outsider, who promised to drain the swamp. Carville laughs, pointing out that Trump turned D.C. into a swamp stocked with his own cronies. To him, Trump's entire brand is like a cheap inflatable raft one, sharp jab of reality, and it collapses.
Where are your pants? At one point, the president tried to communicate through hand signals of some kind. I don't know what this is. I think he's saying, look, the Capitol Dome is a D cup. Look at.
What makes their tag team brutal is how they hit Trump in his two favorite safe zones, image and supposed smarts. Colbert tears apart the showman act. Carville slices up the man behind the curtain. Together, they reveal Trump as nothing more than a parade float, big, loud, and impressive at a distance. But the second the air leaks out, all you've got is a heap of plastic sagging in the gutter.
Well, so pointed out, again, and I'll point out again, on the 17th of January, 2017, Trump sent Keith Schiller and two other goons into his internist office, a man by the name of Dr. Bornstein in Manhattan, and confiscated his medical files. Dr. Bornstein said the fact that he felt like he'd been raped, or something to that effect.
Colbert loves to dismantle Trump's speeches, the endless recycling of biggest, best, and tremendous, like a kid scribbling in crayon who just discovered adjectives. He frames them as Mad Libs gone off the rails. Every rant sounds less like leadership and more like a 3 a.m. infomercial pitch. Trump isn't delivering policy. He's hawking a brand like a late-night salesman too desperate to change the channel.
Seems weird, but there's probably a very simple explanation for why he talks that way. A thing called brain damage. Trump also opened up about his personal struggles.
Some people say, sir, how do you get out of bed in the morning? It's a war.
Carville skips the grammar check and hammers the emptiness. He says Trump's speeches aren't strategy. They're static like a busted radio that blurts out win and tremendous to keep the crowd hooked. For Carville, Trump's greatest fear isn't losing, it's silence. Because silence exposes the illusion. Colbert ridicules the noise. Carville crushes the substance. Together, they paint Trump not as a strong leader, but as the loudest insecurity complex ever wrapped. In a presidential seal.
He did some very normal, unmiked roof shouting.
What does that mean?
Yeah! What does that mean? What does any of this mean? How are you the guy in charge? Why do we have to pretend?
Colbert dives into Trump's rallies like they're America's strangest roadshow. Trump becomes a washed-up stand-up act, recycling the same jokes. Night after night, Colbert mocks Trump's obsession with size crowds. Hands towers while Carville exposes the insecurity behind the bragging.
So Trump has gone out of his way to tell us he's a pervert. He's talked about, this is very difficult, I hate to bring this up, but we got to do this. His youngest daughter, I think the name is Tiffany, and was fantasizing about her breasts when she was an infant. That's just fun.
Colbert makes it slapstick Trump as a kid, stacking blocks, screaming that his tower is tallest. Carville calls it what it is, overcompensation. Trump can inflate his numbers, his wealth, his legacy, but bankruptcies don't lie, court cases don't lie. A revolving door of fired loyalists doesn't lie. Colbert mines the absurdity. Carville delivers the receipts. Together, they tear down the illusion brick by brick.
Where we stand, Musk spent all day yesterday slamming Trump's big, beautiful bill to his 200 million followers on Twitter. What's most impressive, only half of those are his kids. And Trump, here's the thing, I was impressed by this. Trump held his return fire until today in a press conference with German Chancellor Gerhard Knockwurst. I don't know. Jim?
Elon's upset because we took the EV mandate, and which was a lot of money for electric vehicles, and they're having a hard.
Colbert has a field day mocking Trump's obsession with media. Midnight tweet storms, endless feuds with TV hosts. Fragile ego bruised by a single bad headline, he turns it into slapstick. Picture Trump in a bathrobe, rage tweeting like a teenager. Grounded for curfew, Carville raises the stakes, warning that this obsession wasn't just goofy, was dangerous. Decisions were based on ratings, not strategy. The White House wasn't an office, it was a green room.
But if I've learned one thing from the misadministration is that sometimes you just gotta tune out. Tune out the noise and do something just for you, like accepting a free bribe jet from Qatar. Well, me time. Today, Trump visited that country as part of his Mideast all-you-can-grift Carnival cash cruise. And when he arrived, his motorcade was greeted by riders on ceremonial camels.
Carville digs deeper. Those lies weren't just quirks, they were weapons. A non-stop flood of misinformation meant to wear down the truth until people stopped caring. For him, Trump's dishonesty was corrosive, not comical, but in a roast. The sheer volume becomes the joke. Colbert lampoons the branding gold letters, red hats, his name slapped on everything from steaks to skyscrapers, like a mall kiosk entrepreneur who stumbled into the Oval Office. Carville nails the punchline. Trump didn't run a government, he ran a franchise, and it collapsed under its own weight.
Here's Trump on Saturday mocking the speech impediment Joe Biden has had since childhood.
2 nights ago, we all heard Crooked Joe's angry, dark, hate-filled rant of a state
of the Union address, didn't it bring us together? Remember, he said, I'm going to bring the country together.
Wow. Wow. You really want to go there? First of all, Biden didn't stutter like that. Second, if you want to make this a word-talking contest, you're one of the weirdest speakers in human history. Here's Trump later in that same speech saying something.
They are weaponizing law enforcement for high-level election interference against Joe Biden's top and only political appointment.
Together, Colbert and Carville create a portrait, not of a leader, but of a man addicted to validation. A man who thought applause was achievement, branding was success, and noise was power. Their roast dismantles the mythology piece by piece, until all that's left is a man shouting into the void, hoping the echo sounds like cheering. And the best part? Trump never runs out of material. He's a walking punchline factory, serving up fresh chaos every day.
We are at war. And it was a war, as all of them are going to be. We don't know how it's going to end. It's like, it's people say it's like kicking a door down that you don't know what's behind it. I think it's important to examine the three people that are conducting this war. One is Donald John Trump, who none of us think, if you're watching this, has the mental capacity or the intellectual curiosity to lead a nation at any time, much less one at war.
Carville lands the darker truth. This wasn't leadership. What's fear dressed as power. Anyone who questioned him got tossed aside, while the sycophants survived by saying the emperor looks amazing. Colbert, meanwhile, leans into Trump's Twitter addiction, portraying a president more obsessed with hashtags than policies. He jokes that Trump treated the nuclear button like a like button, and every press conference like a live stream. Carville then slams home the consequences policy by tweet. Global allies left guessing, and adversaries playing him like a fiddle with a flattering post. The result? A legacy of division and incompetence that no spin can fix. Their closing punchline isn't of a titan, but of a cautionary tale. A man who mistook applause for greatness and branding for history.
Oh, the Qataris know the way to Trump's heart. Bribes and humps. My humps. My humps. Those lovely camel lumps. Trump met with the Qatari emir, and he praised all the Gulf razzle-dazzle.
What a beautiful place, and we appreciate those camels, and the job you've done is second to none. You look at this, it's so beautiful. As a construction person, I'm seeing perfect marble. This is